Hello and welcome to Fin Business. We're at Sivos and I'm in conversation with Duena. Duena works for emotional banking. Duena, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
So the whole world is talking about digital revolution and you're talking about emotional banking. When it comes to finances, when it comes to money, emotion is very important. But since you're delivering a talk and you're working specifically for emotional aspect of it, could you please elaborate how does actually emotional banking work?
It's a very good question. How does it all fit together?
Right.
Why do we have this conversation over here on technology and digital, and very little on the conversation on emotions? So I'll answer that. I think the reason why is a long story, but let's try and separate it. You can't really have a conversation about technology that's involved without looking at people's emotions. You said yourself, money is a very emotional topic. Well, with that said, banks are in the business of providing this service to people, or these products to people. I hate the term products when it comes to banking. And yet they do very little in the way of exploration as to what the consumer's feelings really are. Their proposition is built on the old tenets of a product. It's built on numbers. It's built on artificial P&Ls. They have put out an offering to consumers, and they expect consumers to apply their lives to it instead of that offering applying itself to the life of the consumer. That's all wrong. They need to take a step back and redesign that proposition in a way that is fitting the consumer's life. They need to transform what they think of as products into what I call money moments. And to do all that, to change the way they think of the consumer, more than in a way in which they just say so, which is what's been happening over the last few years, to really do customer centricity and design with the heart of the consumer at the center of the proposition. To do that, they have to change, and they have to change dramatically. And by that, I don't mean they need new technology. By that, I mean they need to have a moment where they look at themselves and they change the internal culture of a bank, allowing them to do all that. Use the technology, redesign the proposition, understand the consumer. None of that is going to happen until they change the emotions of their own employees.
So what is your findings when now you're dealing with it? How the banks are looking at it and whether it's really beneficial for the customers? What kind of user case studies you have?
Right. So I've written about this extensively in my book called Emotional Banking. What I found while researching the book is that while there are some issues that are across the board the case for every industry, meaning once you become a big corporation, it's really difficult to keep the soul of the organization. It becomes a more sterile exercise to design for the consumer. All those things are across all industries. In banking, we have a very different type of set of issues, and that is almost that's caused by the fact that banking is at the intersection of numbers and something very intensely personal such as money, and also has this layer of morality and trust and so on. So all of those things come together while bankers still exist in an organization that's complicated. So as a result, the internal culture in banks is a lot more complicated than that of a large organization in, say, pharma or energy or aviation. And what I found is it's a really difficult battle changing banks. I feel like things are starting to get slightly better. We're starting to shift the focus from simply technology and more onto people. There's our consultancy, for instance, is called People Not Tech. And what we're trying to affect change by is we sit banks down and we say, look, we understand that your focus is 90% on business as usual, and your focus is on employing faster technology and so on and so forth. But you know in your heart of hearts that none of this is going to last and make a difference until you get three things in. You need to have knowledge, you need to have courage, and you need to have passion. And by that, I don't mean the leaders of a bank. By that, I mean everybody in the bank has to have those things and believe in what they're doing and have a little bit of purpose. Because you can teach people technology. You can mandate they're going to be working in an agile fashion as of tomorrow. None of that is going to really resonate and come from a place where they're trying to make things happen. And so we sit banks down and say, look, we have to change, and to change fast, because you don't have the time to slowly change. This is a business that's moving very fast. You have challenges coming in, you have the big tech coming in. They don't have the cultural problems that incumbent banks have.
Absolutely.
So to kind of compete with them, what you need to do is, and to make this change fast, is one, find a way to spark that fire in your people, in your existing people. Nobody's saying send them home. Everybody's saying just like let's find it in them. Banks, we have to remember, have incredibly intelligent people who have just been underutilized and put into a horrible work situation. As soon as we fix those things, you'll see them flourish. As soon as we break silos, as soon as we give them the psychological safety to innovate and feel, we're going to have a different set of abilities in front of us. And so we say to them, look, we can help spark some of this interest with workshops and programs around the organization. But also, because we want to affect the change fast enough, ironically, we built a piece of software. And that software is meant to change the way we organize teams and is meant to change the way we work with each other.
Okay.
So what we do is, essentially, in short, we sit banks down and say, look, you have a problem. And they know they do. And to fix it, the answer is slightly technological, but practically it will be an uncomfortable road to understanding how you really function in your heart of hearts.
Absolutely. Good. So that comes to my last question now. And my last question is into two parts. And if you could give me a specific answer to that. So when we speak about emotional banking, you actually gave a good information in details, because of a lot of bankers and the financial professionals are our viewers. If you could tell me, what are those 3-4 things the financial institutions or banks should do specifically to adopt emotional banking for their employees, part 1, and for their customers, part 2? If you could give some specific points.
It's the same answer, which is easy. I don't have a prescriptive answer as to what they need to do towards their consumers, because all they need to do towards their consumers is do better by them. Serve them truly.
Yes.
To do that, they need to do something towards their employees. And those things, to answer your question, those very specific things are: be ready for a cultural change, transform the way their organization really works, and go back to core principles such as these ones, which are knowledge, courage, and passion.
Right. Great, Duena. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Duena spoke about emotional banking and how the banks need to change their employees first to create a cultural revolution in the financial institutions. Thank you so much for watching Fin Business.